Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Now, let's hear from our host, Andy
Albright. Y'all are so silly. So I can see Olivia and James. Can anybody else see Spencer?
Yes.
You can? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Hey, Olivia. Hey, Spencer. Hey, James.
Hi, Andy.
Hey, Andy.
How are you?
Hey, everyone. What is this right here? All right, so the message they put out is, if somebody could tell you a simple way to fix what you're doing, would you want to do it? So I think that question, I know that question itself is kind of tricky because a lot of people don't want to know the answer. What they want to hear is agreement, like whatever they want to do. I've had, each of you have had this happen to you. Olivia, I want to make sure you know, I know James and Spencer have dealt with this because I've had this conversation, but I've not had this with you. Have you had it where people come up to you and they say, like, they got an example, some examples. They say, hey, listen, I'm going to get a divorce. 100% settle on it. Do you think that's the right thing to do? Or they say, hey, I decided to quit my job and look for another one, and I'm going to quit it first and then look for it so I've got some more time. Do you agree? So you see what they're doing. They tell you what they're going to do, and then they ask you for your agreement. You see what I'm saying, Olivia?
Yeah, I've definitely had that happen. So
it's a little annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, well, you're asking, but then you're telling. So, like, do you want my opinion or no?
Stephen Davies, last time I did this call, he said, people want to hear an echo, not an answer. Echo. I am going to quit spending money on ZipRecruiter. It's a waste of time. I'm not going to do it. Do you agree with me? Do they want an answer or they want an echo?
Echo.
I'm going to spend less on leads because I'm not making enough money, so I'm going to spend less on leads. What do they want, an echo or an answer? But I don't know if people understand how their words are coming out. They're coming out as a statement. What was it somebody just asked me recently? And they asked me, and I answered, and they asked me, and I answered. I finally said, "You're right." I finally gave up because I was disappointed in myself. It took me 3 times of listening to them tell me how it works that I didn't just go ahead and agree with them the first time. I've had 2 people ask me. One young kid came in here, all drove in. He wanted to know if he should get his master's degree. And then, I don't know, he seemed sincere. And then another guy texted me today and asked me, should he get his master's degree? See, he turned it down, he wasn't going, but they offered it to him for free. I answered him. I don't know if he wanted to echo or what, but he said, I thought I'd pick up a cheap MBA when I could get it. I was like, cheap MBA, what does it cost you? 2 years of your life? Holy cow. That'd be like saying, hey, I'll rob a bank and get $1 million if I only got to go to jail for 2 years. That's not bad. Cheap $1 million. You know, I guess that would be if it's only 2 years. I don't know. But I was within 2 classes of getting my master's degree, and somebody said, you can get rich without getting your master's degree. I was like, all right, I quit. I was like, I was looking for the answer, that I was looking for somebody to tell me I didn't have to go get a master's degree because I had nightmares going to school, trying to learn all that useless stuff. I did tell the guy, I said, but if I were you, I'd learn Spanish. I think that's very worthwhile. He says, I think you're right. What would you do next if I was in your shoes? Where would you try to land a job? I already said job was a joke. I don't know what to tell him. Okay, so if I told you something simple, Olivia, would you want to hear how to get out of it, whatever the situation was?
So if you told me something simple, you're asking if I would want to know how to get out of it?
Yeah, to fix something, to get something done, would you want to know?
Well, yeah, if you know how to do it, then I would definitely want to know.
That's what I'm thinking. Spencer, you in?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I've got several pages of notes to talk about it. James, you in?
I'm in.
I've got several pages of notes. I carry this coin a lot, and I call it the coin of success. I got out of this book, Brian Tracy. In this book is some of the craziest stuff in the world. If you can't just restate everything in this book, you should read this book over and over again and listen to it. By the way, Olivia, the secret or the simple answer to what I'm telling you is there's cheat codes, there's easy ways for everything. If you knew everything, everything would be easy. Okay? So the fastest way to know stuff is to chew up knowledge. Books, audios, and smart people. And you only have so many hours in a day that you can devote to smart people, audios, and books. So one of the hardest things ever, and I still deal with it to a certain extent, is country music, because I like it. But it isn't necessarily smart people telling you how to get free and rich and happy. Right? I was listening to one this morning, and I liked this song, and I didn't know how much I liked this person. But they call him Jelly Roll, or something like that. And he said, they tell me to quit smoking and drinking, but it feels so good. Don't try to help me because I'm a lost cause. And I was thinking, what am I going? Oh, and now he regrets all his tattoos on his face. That's what he's saying now. I don't know. I hadn't heard the whole interview. I ain't heard any of the interview, but I know there is an interview. So I have a hard time not wasting time listening to that. So, because you only got so many. So if you want to get rich faster, if you want to get free faster, if you want to be happy faster, then you got to do the stuff you got to do to get there faster. And the stuff you got to do is hidden in rich people's minds, in audios and books. So this is one of the best books. So we're going to touch on some of those things. And then what we can do is we can deviate to what we want. In other words, the answer to anything is in here, but let's do to something specific. Like how to be happy, we could do that one. Or how to get rich, we could do that one. Or how to recruit young people. Or any HOW we could work on. Okay? So, one of the things I was really proud of Olivia, I said, if you want to come up here and train one-on-one, come on up here. And she said, all right, I'm coming up there. And I said, all right, maybe she is. So she came up and spent a couple of days, and I brought her up on Erica. Erica Gold came up here, and it was funny. It was some funny times. We were laughing some, right, Olivia?
We were laughing some, yeah.
Did you figure out any of those games we played?
Me and Eric ended up figuring out all of them at the dinner.
Did you Google them to find out the answer, or did you just brainstorm and think of them?
I definitely slowed down the speed up to figure those out. We didn't Google them.
Really? Y'all just sat there and figured it out?
Yeah.
So if I did Chinese numbers or whatever with a fork and a knife, you would know the answer to that?
Let's play it. Come on.
Wait a minute. Did you? I mean, I believe you. Did you figure it? Did you seriously figure it out?
Yeah, we figured it out. Erica and I figured it out.
In the green glass door?
Yeah. We figured out the pattern. It was all patterns.
Okay. So here's the whole point is there's patterns to everything. And if you can figure the pattern, then you can get it. So it's like knowing the cheat code. Because there's a cheat code. You could Google the answer to those games, but those games are so tiny versus getting $2 million a year coming in. That's a little more weird, a little more complicated, or being happy, because your mom could die, you could have cancer, your brother could be mean, people have opinions of you, and then you let that affect you, and then it makes you not happy. So it's more complicated. So the whole point of those games is to tell you there is a cheat code, and once you get the cheat code, it's that simple to figure out green glass door or the green power. We didn't do green power with you, which we could do that. Probably harder to do it because you can't feel the power coming through over the screen. We'll do that in person, or maybe somebody that but once you get it, you should quickly get through it. So I'm trying to get you in the pattern of breaking codes. All right?
I have a question for you, actually, Andy. Do you think that part of the cheat code would be like a big factor that would be like self-analysis, since you are having to recognize your own patterns and where the faults are?
Yeah, self-recognition, how you evaluate yourself. There's a couple of notes I got here on that, but yeah, that's in here too. That's huge. And like here's something, this is a cheat code right out of this book, is 99% of people don't think they have the people skills, the intelligence, the drive, the ambition. Like they 100% think they don't have the things that are needed, when it's absolutely the opposite. 99.9% of people have everything they need. They just don't use it.
They don't analyze it.
They don't believe it. They just simply don't believe it's there. All right, hold that thought. We're going to come back. We're going to do this CFG contest. So every week we've been drawing 3 names, and today we have the honor and the pleasure of having Ella draw these names out. CFG wants you to think about them first and write their business first. We've got a great term product now that we can convert to a permanent product. We've got a great final expense product. Very simple, easy to use, great customer service. Nobody's complaining about them. It's funny. How about this one? I had people complain about a company. This company won't write business they want. I go like, let me think about, I got it, right, with a different company. And you should see people go like, oh my God, that's a great idea. And I'm number 282 would win. 282, that's way down there. 282. Chase Green, you would have won $100 if we were live, but you didn't win it. So we're going to put you back in there, Chase. Good odds we'll get you out the second time. Forgot you the first time. Oh, you got 3. Whoa, no, he's got to be back in there. I told him. I got integrity. You got to put him back in there. Because, see, I put his back in there. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, integrity is an important thing. Integrity is an important thing. All right, that's good. Try to get Mr. Green back. Did you keep those in your hand? Did y'all watch?
She put them back.
She put them back. Number 390. It was close, 282, but it's 390.
I can Kate Marisi.
Mike Marisi! Kate gets $100. Kate wins $100. 187. God, had an 8 in it. Mr. Green almost won.
Cesar Perez.
Cesar Perez, baby! I talked to him yesterday, I think. He got $100. That just, see, talking to me makes you lucky. 392.
Sonia Gladney.
Sonia Gladney. Congratulations, G-L-A-D, anyone?
Yeah.
Yep, Sonia Gladney. Put those back in case they want to win again next week. Woo-hoo! $300. Just like that. Love y'all. Think CFG, baby. And it's easy to spell. It's a C and an F and a G, and you're in business. Right? Okay. Okay, so let's start with this. What do you want? How do you get it? So what do you want? We can go macro. We want to be happy. We want to be rich. By the way, I want to tell you a quick story. This person was in my office over a year ago talking about how they want to get rich. And then I'm telling you, I'm coaching them, I'm pushing, I'm screaming. They come back in here crying. A year later. What's wrong? All you ever talk about is how I'm going to get rich and tell me how I can do more, make more money. I'm just unhappy here. I was like, why? I want to be happy. I don't care about being rich. I was like, you told me. And then I was like, I should have given them an echo instead when they want to answer, right? And so they're crying. I want to be happy, not rich. I was like, well, all your bonuses are getting ready to go away. And then it didn't go good. So it's, what do you want? Do you want to get rich? You want to be happy? My deal is I always want to be happy first. And by the way, I told that person, I said, don't you remember I said this from the very beginning? Happiness is most important. And they're like, yeah, but I want to be rich too. And I go, right, happy and rich. And they go like, but I can't be happy doing this. And the things that they had to do to get rich, they said made them not happy. You see what I'm saying? They said doing the things to get rich makes me not happy. Therefore, I'm not going to do things to get rich. I'm just going to stay happy. I said, all right, the good news is you're happy. But I want to be rich too. I go, no, you don't. You don't want to be rich if you don't want to do the things that get you there. Does that make sense? It's how I feel. Like, oh my God, now we got another discussion. Because that's really complicated. We're throwing in the feelings. Okay? Feelings are like, we'll come back to that. Okay, what do I want? How do I get it? So, Spencer, the other day you asked me, you said, or maybe, I don't know how you framed it that made me say it, but it was something to the tunes of, what gets people to like you the most? And I said, here's the answer. Well, just now I read it again. Here's the answer. Like, what is the best thing you can do to people? Now, if I said, what's the best words you can say, that's one answer. If I said, what's the best thing you can do to them, that's a different answer. So the word is the easy one. Most people are going to guess the word. What's the word? Olivia, do you know what's the word you can say to anybody that makes them happy?
No.
Okay, do you know, Spencer?
Yes.
And it is?
I believe it is their name.
That is correct. James, did you know that?
Yes.
Now, here's what's interesting about Spencer, Olivia. I said, do you know the answer? And he said, yes. Most people, if I say, do you know the answer? They would have said, yes, their name. And I would go, okay, cool. But what I'm thinking is, I only ask you one question, but you answered two. Or worse, they skip the first answer and go straight to the second one. And your name. I go, that is the answer, but that's not the question I asked. The question I asked. So a lot of us listen to the words. So you've heard this before, Olivia, that saying a person's name makes them happy and it's the best thing you can say to them, correct?
Yeah, I've heard that.
All right, so you need to lock in at some point. That's if one word you can say to somebody, you know it's going to make them happy. So let's say you're in a heated discussion. What's one word you could say that'll calm them down a little bit?
Their name.
Yeah, but you got to know it. Okay, so like if it's the beginning of the game, or and you have 3 timeouts left in basketball, and you get tied up with somebody, what's something you can do real quick so that you don't lose the ball? Call timeout. But if you don't know that, you just stay around, and then it's a jump ball, and then the other team gets it because you didn't know. Call timeout. Well, I didn't know. Okay, how about next time you know? So I was texting with my daughter conversation, and she was saying about this woman that's talking and took forever. I said, sweetie, when that happens, just say their name 2 or 3 times. And then after they shut up, because that's the only way you can get them shut up, say their name, because they won't shut up. You could scream, whistle, holler, rape, bloody murder. They ain't shutting up. But you say their name 2 or 3 times, they'll be quiet. You deal with that when you're selling leads or helping with leads. They just won't shut up. They're telling you, say their name 2 or 3 times. Say, hey, listen, I got a prior commitment, because you do. You have a prior commitment. I'll have to go, but I'll be glad to call you back. How about 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, or next day after never? Second Tuesday next week. And then you get them off the phone. But the first thing you do is get them shut up to get them off the phone, because you don't want to hang up on them. And she was like, that's almost exactly what I did. I do want to say, what is it you didn't do besides that? But it was good that she knew to say their name. Okay, so what is it you can do to them? Do you know, James, what is the greatest gift you can give that gets people to like you? Do you know?
What is it? I said, what is it?
So I know. Do you know Spencer or Olivia?
I don't think so.
Would you like to take a guess? I said it to you on the jet, Spencer.
The greatest gift you can give?
To make them like you. Or people skills, relationships. Clay, do you know?
I think so.
Clay thinks he knows. Hand him the mic. Let's see if he knows. The question is, if I'm not studied or prepared, do I know these answers? I think I do.
To get them to talk about themselves.
To get them to talk about themselves. That is a great, that'll work really, really good. Here's the best thing you can do. According to Brian Tracy, and I'm pretty sure it's according to Jesus. No, I know it is. It's accept people where they are unconditionally. So, whatever the condition they're in, you accept. There's no like when somebody's telling you something about themselves and you give them the that is like sticking a ice pick in their eyeball.
Oh.
They're not impressed that you don't like or you've judged their tattoo or their eyeball or their hair color or their beard or the mustache or their teethies. One guy got one tooth hanging down right there, and you can tell there ain't no other teeth, that maybe one back in the back. And you're like, you give him, he got one tooth and you give him the, you with me? Like, who cares? It's not your mouth. You care because that's your preference of the type of person that you think a person should be. Like Jelly Roll and his face tattoos, right? So you go like, I knew that was wrong. Whoa. So does that make sense? So figuring out how to get to recruit people is not judging them. So telling a person you shouldn't get your master's degree. That's not what the people at Amway told me. They said you don't need to get rich. And I go, all right, good. So when I answered these two people that just recently asked me, my goal is not, I don't care. And the other thing, Spencer, is how do you not care? Your mother, my wife, Jane Albright, has asked me, how is it possible that you don't have a feeling toward that? I don't know. I just don't. Now, here's the question. Do I really have a feeling and I just won't admit it? Have I trained myself to ignore it? Do I fake it really, really good? What do you think? What do you think, James?
I think you do have I think you do have feelings. I would say, in your words, you just don't major in the minors.
Say the same thing. I'm not trying to change what you're saying. I'm just trying to hear you.
I said, I think you do have feelings, but in your words, you just don't major in the minors.
Ooh. So I really might have feelings, but I just ain't, I don't go there.
Correct.
Are you practicing that, James?
I've been practicing that, and I've had some conversations with Robbie Kraft to remind me not to major in the minors when it comes down to certain things.
Whatever it is, whether it's people's personalities, people's preferences that you disagree with, how do you major in that, right? That's got to be a minor. Who cares? Spencer, do you feel that about yourself? Do you see yourself doing it sometimes, or trying not to do it, or your feelings come out?
Yes, I definitely. Well, kind of two roads to it. You know, you talk a lot about who we are trying to bring onto our team. You know, what we should be looking for. So I kind of have a criteria that I'm looking for. If it's outside of that criteria, then why do I care? You know, so if it's something you mentioned like looks, political views, religion, that's not on my list of things to care about, you know? So yes, I see myself discerning in some ways, but not caring about, I think James put it well, not majoring in the minors, not caring about what I shouldn't.
Olivia, if people want to come visit me and they want to come hang out at campus, where should they fly into?
Greensboro.
You
right?
think?
Yeah.
How about Raleigh Durham? What's wrong with Raleigh Durham?
They can fly into there too, but it's an hour ride from that airport to you.
How about I tell them, all right, if you want to come visit me, we're about 45 minutes from Raleigh Airport, and we're about 35 minutes from Greensboro. So same difference. So let's say you're in Montana, and you can get a direct flight into Greensboro. That's a great program. If you can get a direct flight into Raleigh, that's a great program. And then you can look at the price difference, because it's only like 10 minutes difference. Now, if the flight itinerary has you flying into Charlotte, North Carolina, which is an hour and a half from here, and then you're flying into Raleigh, that's kind of weird, because you're going to sit there in Charlotte for an hour and a half waiting for the layover, and then you're going to fly an hour to Raleigh, and then you're going to drive 45 minutes to us. So just look at where you're landing. Is that right, Olivia?
Right.
Just kind of think it through. Look at it. Olivia called me and she said, hey, we're almost there. We're only like an hour away from you. And I was like, where are you? She was like, Charlotte. I was like, you're an hour and a half away from me. She's like, yeah, but we're flying to Raleigh. I was like, we're not in Raleigh. So you're an hour and a half. Yeah. And she was like, oh, it was funny. But now here's the deal. You won't ever make that mistake again, will you?
Nope.
So think about when you're recruiting, or when you're playing basketball, or when you're playing chess, remembering all the complicated things that can mess up recruiting, mess up a sale, and try to get it right every time. It's back to the pattern of Green Glass Door or any of those games we play, trying to teach people patterns. It's a pattern of when you're traveling, Olivia, is looking at it, studying, like taking a minute, or not an hour, it's just a minute or two to look at it and see how it works out. I've had it happen so many times. I don't book my own flights, I tell my secretary, but then once she books it, try to look at it and see if there's something that don't make sense. Like, why don't we just fly in there the night before? Or I've just seen some crazy things just by taking a look at the itinerary, saying, I'm going to waste 2 days traveling to South Africa the way you've got it. Why don't we just fly to Dubai first? Or why don't we, just little things. So the same way that you win the games, the same way you look at your itinerary has got to be the same way you look at happiness or wealth. It's not complicated, but if you go the wrong way, it takes you hours, days, or years longer to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. So, happiness. Definition of happiness. Do you have a definition of happiness, Spencer? Or can you tell me how to be happy? Tell me what is happy?
I think it would be hard to define without using like other words that I would have to define. Because I would say content. Maybe you don't feel like you need to do an activity or a task or something. You're satisfied, content. That's what I would think of. Happy.
What do you think, James?
I'm going to go back to having this conversation with you, Andy, back in September when we talked about what is happiness. It's the progressive realization of a worthy ideal goal.
The progressive realization of a worthwhile dream or goal.
Yes.
The progressive realization of a worthwhile dream or goal. It is weird how many times like I get cold chills and I go, yep, learned that in Amway. Like nailed it. Like just, that's the way it works. So you Google it and you get different weird stuff. I like old school. Like if I can get a book that's 2,200 years old, or if I can get one that's 60 years old and it just says this is what happy and it makes sense, like that's what I like. Because this sometimes newfangled stuff, it's based on old stuff, but they put in crazy stuff. There's a Andy, right inside this little office, there's a book, an orange book. It's called Work-Life Balance. I think it's laying on the table. I think you'll be able to see it right in there. What would you think about happiness, Olivia? How do you be happy? You can copy James if you want to, if you have something else. Or
I think happiness is unique to the individual. Like what would make me happy might not be what makes you happy.
How do you define that?
That's a really good
Hey,
question.
here's one way in the 70s they said it. If it feels good, do it. Is that what you mean? If it feels good to you, then you're happy. Is that, you sticking by that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, if it's something that makes me feel good, would make me happy. I mean, I think happiness does revolve around feelings and emotion. I don't know how to exactly explain happiness. I think you're not a mathematics person, or haven't been in the past. I have established that. Do you know what common denominator is? Oh my God. I'm not picking on you. Listen, I was good at science and social studies. The math, but I'm happy to hear your explanation of it. So common denominator is something that'll go into either one. So my guess is, you're right, whichever is happiness, but there's a common denominator for everybody. I'm looking for the common denominator for happiness. Like, for example, if you want to be fat one day, and you said, here's why I want to be fat, because if I'm fat, then I can be an example to everybody that happiness is cool, and I'm going to live to be 100 even though I'm fat, and I'm just going to set that as an example. James could say that's a progressive realization of a worthwhile dream or goal. Because your dream or goal is to be fat and happy and live a long life and set an example for people. Okay? Another person wants to be incredibly physically fit because they truly believe. So as long as you're in a process of coming fat when your goal is to be fat, but if you're trying to be fit and you're trying to become fit, it's still the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream or goal. So the common denominator being what James said. Does that make sense? Or like the common denominator of 4 and an 8. Like what's the common denominator, right? And my guess is, and I ain't studied that in a while, is a 2 and a 4. A 2 and a 4 will go into 8 equally, and a 2 and a 4 will go into 4, but there's no other, or is 1 count as a common denominator? No? Because it can't count. We'll look it up. The lowest common, okay, is this making sense? Like progressive real, it's a common denominator. It fits you and it fits Spencer, even though you might have different desires and dreams. But the happiness is progressively realizing it. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. So like if you want to make $250,000 and Spencer wants to make $2.5 million and both of you want to make it each year, as long as you're progressing towards that, you're happy. But when you're going against that, you're not happy. If you want to have a great relationship with your parents and you're doing stuff that progress it in the right direction, you're happy. But if you want to have a great relationship and you do things that stagnate it, and then something, you say, well, I don't care nothing about my parents. Are you listening? It's a common denominator that we're talking about. What do you want and what gets you there? Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. So we're looking for the common denominator, not the specialty. I was just, like, I disagree when they say things like manage your stress levels, manage ways to reduce learning a few management techniques. Like, I don't know. What does that mean? Enjoy yourself. What does that mean? I don't know. I can't define what modern stuff says sometimes. Boost your self-esteem, have a healthy lifestyle. Not if you like to drink.
Not if you like to eat a lot.
That's right.
Not if you like rich food.
That's right.
I ain't never been happy eating a carrot.
Me either.
Well, I see someone eat a carrot, y'all. But you say, but that makes you happier. I'm with Olivia. Not me. But whatever my goal is, if I'm in the process of that. Okay, now here's the thing is, I don't have to convince anybody of any of this. I don't care what you think. Like, that's what I mean by not judging. Okay, let me give you some Brian Tracy stuff. Happiness is based 100% on your ability to take responsibility for everything in your life. So if Jelly Bean is a Jelly Roll. So if Jelly Roll says, my parents influenced me to get these tattoos on my face and now I hate them. Now he's got hate in his life. But if he says, when I was little, I believed tattoos on my face. I wish I hadn't done that. But I'm just going to tell other people not to do it. And I'm going to get me a Snickers bar and a beer. You see how more happy he's going to be if he goes focused on what's next in my life, not hating his parents or not. In other words, I did it. There you go. Let's move on. So the definition or the reason for that is control. When people feel like they have control over their expenses, control over their life, control over their destiny, control over themselves, they tend to be happier. It's when people feel like life's out of control, or stuff's spinning, or they can't, when they don't think they have any control over everything. And then people say, well, you don't have control. I go, yeah, there you go. Your choice. I feel like you do. Why is that? Because the book said I did. So then I went with it. It's kind of like don't major in the minors, James. The book said it was going to be like this way, so I made it so. I made it so. You go, well, let me ask you this, Andy. Didn't you want to be a billionaire? Yeah. Well, then if you had control of it, how you do it? Because I did stuff wrong.
That's right.
And then I smile. So there's a pattern there that if you can pick up on it, Olivia and Spencer, it changes everything. It's just a pattern. Now, if people say there's no pattern, and I go, all right, let's review how you couldn't figure out Chinese numbers. You couldn't figure out the green glass door. You couldn't do the ABC game. You couldn't do the C is game. I mean, what part of C is game can't you pick up on? And everybody around you is picking up on the game, but you can't pick up on the game. So when I start talking about this happiness thing, responsibility and control, people go like, that's not true. And I go, all right, how about you? You get it? And Andy Riddle goes, I get it. Stephen Davis goes, I get it. Adam Katz goes, I get it. And all of a sudden, you see the people that are succeeding wildly get the pattern. And then people that don't see the pattern don't have success. And you go, see, I'm just telling you. And then they go, is it cause or was it cause or relationship?
Causation is not correlation.
Right. Is it correlation or is it causation? So they go, just because he's successful and he picks up on the pattern don't mean the pattern caused success. But I would say yes, because he picked up on the pattern, it caused success. So but see, here's the problem, Spencer. The same dum-dum that don't pick on the pattern, they don't know the difference between causation and correlation. They'd have to look them up because they hadn't read much. Okay, so James, me and you about the same age. So I'm talking to these younger people going like, you have now to fix it. And the best thing you can do is read like crazy, listen like crazy, and try to change quickly, like really change. Because here's the thing. People say, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have the other. But you have the ability to have this, this, and this. And then when you get the ability of this, this, and this, then you can get what you want. So I'm trying to keep it simple. If I could tell you a simple way to fix it, Andy, how old are you, AP? 24. So I didn't even hear that this was real until I was 27. I wish I'd have heard it when I was 24. Spencer's been hearing it since birth because he was just born 26 years ago, and I heard it 27 years ago. So you do the math, I was already hearing and thinking this when he was first born, so I started telling him this. So he's got a better shot at getting there quicker. The other day he said, I'm frustrated because I think I should be farther along. Well, there's knowledge and then there's execution of knowledge too, Spencer. So first is knowledge, and then here I got good news for you, Olivia, is you don't have to know this stuff, but doing this stuff is so important. So you don't even have to understand this. Like gravity, you don't have to understand, or success, you don't have to understand, or happiness, you don't have to understand. But once you hear the rules, then you can just say something. Well, what if I don't feel like I have responsibility? I go, then change that thought pattern. You go, I can't change how I feel. Can't change how you feel, but you can change what you say. And if you change what you say, your mind will articulate to that pattern. It's weird how it happens. I'll give you a good example. Like if I said, who started the game first? Was it me? Was it Spencer? Was it you? Who started the games at dinner, Olivia? And you say, it was Spencer. And I go, no, it was you. And then I get Jess in here. Well, even if we all vote on who started it, it don't matter. It's whatever your mind thinks you're going to walk away believing. So if I tell myself that this is what I believe, nobody can prove that I don't. And after a few days, I will believe that Spencer started the games. You see what I'm saying? Like your mind is such a simple, it's so complicated, but so simple. Kind of like a light switch. You flip switch, light comes on. Flip it down, it goes off. Something complicated to it. It's a complicated mess right there, but it's simple. That flips the light on and off. You don't have to know where the power come from. You don't have to know what amperage. You don't know a closed circuit, open circuit. You don't know nothing. Just flip switch. That's how you don't have to know. You just got to do. So if you start out with, what is one of the best books of success? What's the book? It's got success on it. It's written by Jack Canfield. But you know what the first chapter is. 100%. If you don't know what the first chapter is, I'm telling you what the first chapter is right here. The number one setup for success and happiness is responsibility. The whole first chapter is about the blame game. The opposite of responsibility is blame. Like if you blamed it on Olga, I didn't hear 1 ounce of blame in you, Olivia, on Olga telling you, fly into Raleigh. You took 100%, it was me, we won't do it again. Because Olga told her flew in Raleigh, so they got a flight that went to Raleigh through Charlotte. Success Principles by Jack Canfield. He's the same guy that wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. Okay. Comments or questions, James, about what we're talking about?
I just say, Andy, you're absolutely right. Whatever we impress upon our mind is going to be our reality, and it's going to manifest itself in the physical. I think that sometimes, we tend to want something real bad, but then we turn around and neutralize our thinking based on our current reality.
It can change your life, can't it, James?
Absolutely.
James told me one time this person put him in this room and he couldn't see daylight. And they did it for days and days, wouldn't let him out. Couldn't see daylight. They bring him just enough food to live. I was like, James, that sounded awful. Was that awful, James? Did that happen?
For 2 years, Andy. Yes, sir.
Somebody locked him up in the room. He couldn't see out. Now, when you got out of that room, you had a mindset. And then you got a mentor who changed your mindset. Is that right?
Correct.
What did they say to change your mindset?
They told me that I had what it takes, and it just messed me up because nobody had never said that to me before.
Did he say something like, you got what it takes, you just don't know it?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. So he said, you got what it takes, you just don't know it.
Yes.
So I'm telling you, it says in this book, 99% of people think they ain't got what it takes. You got what it takes. You just need to develop these areas that you're very capable of doing. Same thing the mentor told you. The question is, how many people have to tell you this? Your preacher tells you, Sunday school teacher tells you, get one of those billboards, those black and white billboards tells you. You read it in the book, James tells you. Who else got to tell you? Well, okay, so let's say I do have what it takes, but I don't want to develop those attributes. Oh, okay. I guess you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. I get it. But don't say that you weren't capable of it. Just say you decided you didn't want that because that didn't make you happy. There you go. Now we can move on. But it's just sorting and sifting. People that believe it, people that believe it and want to do it. What I've been talking about recruiting-wise is you need a person who's capable of selling and recruiting and wants to sell and recruit. Right? Because we know everybody's really capable, but then again, if they've proven the past 10 things they failed in life, I've said this so many times, you should be saying the words, lemony snickets, a series of unfortunate events, and you are getting ready to become the next unfortunate event in their life. Because they've been problem, you're the next problem. Just watch. So when I say that they can do it, I mean they've been successful here, So if you talk to James and you go like, well, that sounds like a bad time in your life when that person was holding you up like that. And you go, yeah, it was a bad time. What's happened since then? Well, I become a manager of 8 different retail stores doing $16 million a year in sales. Really? How'd you do that? Change my attitude. Great. Hire this guy. Well, the other question is, do you want to do it? Well, I live at home, my daddy in the basement, and I don't have any bills. And treats me good. Mama cooks. Grandma does the laundry. So it's just a great place to hang out. I've got nice little windows right up at the top of the room where you can see out and see the daylight. I can go out and party all night, come in 3 or 4 o'clock. They don't say nothing. You go, great. You want to get rich? He's already rich. He's got a maid. He got a chef. Got unlimited living and going. Right? He's rich. Even if he's capable, does he want to do it? So, all right. So like Spencer's not hurting. Olivia, you wasn't hurting. James not hurting. The question is how bad do you want it? In other words, y'all, I think all 3 of y'all are capable. The next question is going to be how bad you want it. Do you need it? Won't need. And then some people go like, you should just work on what you need, not what you want. I've read a book, numerous books that said, if you work on what you want, you'll get more. I was like, let me think. I work on what I want, I get more. Okay, that's me. And then some people would argue that's greedy, and I'd be like, I don't know what to tell you. I want to give away more money. I want to name more buildings. I want to give more money to charities. So I got to get in order to give. See how I put that logic together? And then some people say, you'll put a spin on something. I go, you don't. You don't put a spin on your life, so now you don't want to do it. So, Olivia, talk to me. Is this hitting you at all? Because I feel like you heard a lot of this when you're up here, and I figure you went back and dealt with some other people, and now you've kind of looked at other people's thinking, and now I'm telling you again. So I'm wondering your feedback.
Well, the one thing that you brought up was, knowledge and execution. That one really strikes a chord, especially within, my agency. You can know something all you want, but without executing, that knowledge becomes nothing. You can know whatever you want. But if you don't apply that knowledge, and that knowledge amounts to zero. And that's something that, you know, I think a lot of people need to understand. Because I can sit here and say, oh, I know I'm doing this wrong. I know these are the things that I'm doing wrong, but what am I doing to change the things that I'm doing wrong? If I'm not making that change, I can know what I'm doing wrong all I want, but if I'm not changing the problem, I'm still going to live in the problem and not the solution.
So high level, you didn't get into it talking about it, but you said, I feel like I was doing some things that were going in the wrong direction, not in the right direction in the past. So how do you feel like you've done on executing that and turning around those, instead of going this way, you're going this way?
With the things that I've done in my past, like the things that I've changed is, you know, my response to certain situations. Like I'm still working on it. It's a lot better. I very much had like knee-jerk reactions to certain situations that caused me a lot of trouble, whether that was verbally or physically. And now I'm taking a moment to try to process before I have a reaction, and that's saving me a lot of headache.
So Jeff Bright was here. He would say you developed a technique to deal with that.
He would say that. He would probably say something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's true. But the point is the knowledge and then executing in your way to make it work.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're doing that. Spencer, how is this? I know you've heard a lot of this before, but is it hitting a different chord? Is it resonating?
It's definitely resonating. I mean, some of the stuff on happiness, I would say I haven't heard before or heard in the way that we've talked about it today. And this is just something I thought of as you and Olivia were talking. How can I get people to execute without knowledge? Because some people want to know everything with zero execution. You know, and we've said a lot of time, ready, fire, aim. A lot of people just want to, you know, have the most precise aim in the world before they take a shot.
How can you, so we went to a, what do I want? How do I get it? So Spencer wants to make overrides and he wants his agency to grow. So how is the other side of the coin? Because he decided what he wanted. Now he's asking how, which is a great question. So to get a whale to jump out of the water over a rope into the other side of the pool, how do you do that? So you got to get low with a rope and you got to give them rewards when they go across. Now, if you've got a whale that already jumps out of the water all the time, he's closer to being trained. It's not as hard. But if you got a whale that's just swimming around what if you got a whale that stays in one corner of the pool all the time? You can't get him out of that pool corner. And you put food over there and the whale just shrinks up and loses 200 pounds until he's almost died. Then he goes over there and eats the food. I don't know how long I'm willing to train with that whale. So people are like that. You're like, this whale refuses. But if you got a whale that's just flying around and he's going around and like this, and you put a food over here and he goes over and bites it, you go, aha, I have a trainable whale. So when I talk to a person in the beginning, Spencer, I start that whale training process every time. Okay? So, I got this young man that is supposed to come down here. He was supposed to come down here until Sunday. I didn't hear back from him. And I've texted him. In other words, when I text a person, Olivia, in the beginning, I expect a response back. If I don't get one, I will call and I say, hey, are we on the same page? Yeah. Well, I texted you yesterday. Yeah. And I hadn't answered you back. I know. I need a text back immediately. So I'm teaching that well. I need your ass to get over there and eat that fish when I put it out. I need you to get back over there when I put that fish out. You go like, do you really like that? Yeah. Hang around me. I'm like that. I'm very much, this is the way it's going to be in the beginning, nicely, by putting a fish over here. And if you don't put a fish over there, I go like, yuck. Okay, so Spencer, some people go like, I got it. The fish is over here. I go over here, fish over here. Tell me how to move the rope up higher. I go, okay, we'll move the rope up higher. Do this. and we watch what they do. So like, it's that trick Spencer is in the beginning, is teaching that whale to go across the rope and give them a reward. So like, for example, I get people, they've had an agent for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and I'm talking to them, and the manager wants me to speed them up. And I say, have you read my book? And they go like, what book? And I'm looking at the manager going, why didn't you give them a copy of my book? They go, well, it costs too much. I go, well, why didn't you give them an audio of my book? It's free. Well, I didn't think about it. Okay, remember, didn't call timeout, didn't understand the pattern. Okay, so if a person listens to my book, then they did something. So you just start doing little things back and forth, Spencer, little things back and forth, and then you increase the skill level required. That's how you do it. Like, so for example, in this book, I don't know that I even wrote it out, but one of the most successful skills is action-oriented people. So, for example, you might do a call and you got 30 people on it and Brandon's teaching. So you say, Brandon, I got several people that need to hear you talk about action orientation. So on this conference call, teach about it. So then Brandon gets on there and teaches the snot out of it. Your person's listening. Maybe they go over and bite that fish. But if they don't, you might have a deaf whale, dumb whale, ignorant whale, weird whale. So you got to find people that'll go over here and come back, go over here and come back. So the other thing is, he may not believe it when Brandon says it, but if he reads the book, you might take a picture of that comment about action-oriented and post it. You might send it to them. But here's the thing. It's hard to make chicken salad out of chicken poop. It's hard to train an alligator to jump over the rope through the water and go flying and land. It's hard. A whale you can teach to do it, not an alligator, not a frog. You with me? So depends on what you're dealing with. You got to have a person. That's why you look at their history. And here's the other thing, especially, you can't get frustrated. Like, you got to be optimistic and keep looking for the success. Is this anything different than you've heard before, Spencer, on how to get somebody action-oriented? We call it information constipation. We call it paralysis by analysis. So we say these things. I've been saying these words for 30 years. Paralysis by analysis. You got the paralysis by analysis. So I'll be real funny talking about that. So maybe if one of those people are hearing this, maybe it stirs them up. Maybe not. But let's say James already takes action, and then James hears me saying this, the James that's on there, he might go from a 9, I estimate he's a 9, like when I recruit him, it's a 9. I might get him to 9.3 versus a 3. If you grow him 3.3, you still ain't got much. And then it's if you could look back at Spencer, my size of my business just seems big, but it's really in my mind tiny. And when you look at how many, like, just lucky, I found Boom. Lucky, Haley married Brandon, and Brandon wanted to do it. Lucky, like, just lucky that Stephen Davies answered an ad. Like, lucky that Eric Belair is a Marine who likes me and wants to do it. It's not like I've got a million people. Does that help, Spencer? And anything new or anything you could emphasize for others?
Well, I haven't heard the whale analogies until lately, so I would say they're new. But no, it's a good reiteration.
What I definitely, it's a little new for me. It's something that I'm trying to work on since I'm still fairly new to developing my business. It's definitely something for me to think about to try to apply, with what I have going on to get people moving. Because that was a really good question, Spencer. It's like, how do we get people moving as quickly as possible? Because there are people who spend way too much time, in my opinion, asking the questions, but just not, just doing it, just execute it. You'll figure it out. Like, just fail fast. That's what I say. Fail fast. You'll figure it out as you actually do it. Because you can sit here and ask me questions all you want, but if you're not actually applying it or just trying to do it, then there's no point in asking me all the questions.
Didn't you just get somebody, like, for the first time right business, or first time got them through class? You had some.
Yeah, his name is Michael. He's less than 30 days with us, and he's already paid about $2,200 this month. So we're super proud of him. He's moving quickly. He'll be at the seminar this month for the estate planning.
I don't have the stats in front of me, but it does seem like you might get the next person selling and the next person selling, and then I'll be like, Spencer, just talk to her a little bit and see the things she's saying. Then the trick is to hear what you're really saying to him, because you might scream and cuss and curse and call him names, but then you get on here and you go, yeah, I encouraged him and he did it. We don't know what you really said to him, right?
Right.
You might have bribed him. Who knows what you did? But the point is, you got somebody selling. So then if you get somebody else selling next month, and I go, Spencer, she's doing it. Spencer, no, these people in America, these young kids these days, I go, she just got 2 people selling. Now I'm saying that well went over there and did it. You can do it too. But I got to get him to think it's him. And then start thinking, what is it she's doing? Or James Coleman, what is it? All right, let me give y'all an example. By the way, about 99% of the times I can't say everything I know. I just highlight and try to keep it high. And some people get mad at me. Why did you say that? I didn't say anything. I was high level. You're the one that spilled the beans. But I want to tell you this one. So Jake, Joseph, and what's his wife's name? Veray. Jake and Veray. Veray's mother. Veray don't talk to her about getting a business. I can't remember the whole story. But I think she goes to him and says, hey, how come y'all not talking to me about this business? I want to do this. But somehow she decides to get her license. Okay? Tia will come in here in a minute. Tia, I want to know those numbers. Like, she went from 5, I think, it's either 5 or 7 people at the last event, and now she's got 12 going to this one. I know, right? Wow. 12 humans signed up to come to the view. So I was thinking when I saw those stats, I was like, wonder what she's saying. Like, what if she's promising them brownies, or like, why is she so influential like that? And then you get this cocky guy there. Well, I've got 2 people, but the 2 people I've got are way better than her 12. I go, okay. Why don't you get 12 good people?
Right.
If you got 2 good people, why don't you get 12? It's just, but does that make sense to Olivia? Like, what is she doing to get that many people? And I'm pretty sure, like, we pull up, here's the funny thing, and this is embarrassing, but here you go, let me see it. The funny thing, Amanda Maldonado. So I told Tia, I was like, who is this Amanda Maldonado? She went from 7 people to 12. And I don't even know. Let's look at the arc and see how she's not been contracted that long. And so I'm thinking, God, how does she get that fast? I said, who is it? And so I looked up Amanda, and I was like, holy cow, I know who that's. Beray's mama.
Male. Maldonado.
All right. Date of birth, you ain't none of your business. I'm looking for date of contract on here. Let's just go to hierarchy. hierarchy, Jake and Beret, Joe Dukes, Winoka Leventovich. Y'all probably don't know who that is. That's Noel. Commissions wallet. I want to see when she contracted. Since there are changes, I can't tell it. Somebody, one of my smart people, tell me. I know. Jake or Beret text me when you are. Okay. You hear what I'm saying? Like, how did you get somebody selling? How did she go from 5 to 12? All right.
8 months.
It's been with us 8 months and she got 12 tickets sold. And there's names on the tickets. So you need to hire somebody like Amanda or pick up the attributes of Amanda. And by the way, she don't live in Raleigh, North Carolina. Oh, I know the secrets because no, they live in somewhere, Arizona or Nevada, somewhere west, New Mexico. Pretty impressive, huh, James?
Yes, sir.
All right, listen to this. You will become as small as your controlling desires, as great as your dominant aspiration. So what controls you? What desires control you or limits you? And then what aspirations set you free? Like, think about these athletes, how hard they train. Or how about this one blows my mind, is these, what do you call these, bodybuilder, and they have these contests where they have, looks like 1% fat, whether it's girls or men. So you have to work out and eat weird. And you can't drink and you can't party with your friends for like, not days, not weeks, like months to a year. Like, what kind of an aspiration is that? So they're controlling desires, not food, not friends, because that's what people say, like, in this business, you don't struggle with friends, because friends ask me to do something, friends ask me to help them, and I go like, that's your controlling desire, is relationships. So that's controlling you. So that's keeping your dominant aspirations tiny. Because you have no great aspirations. So it's a fight against your great aspirations and your dominant controlling desires. What controls you? It's your decision. This controls you. I'm scared to meet people and go out in the open because I'm not that type of person. Do you know how you become that type of person? Start doing it all the time, and then people will call you that type of person. You go, but I still ain't. So like, I'm an introvert. Like, I 100% am. People, there's no way you'd say that. I go, okay, whatever. They go, that's not really. So now they're mind readers. They can read in my mind how it works. I'm impressed with that talent. You go, well, I just know because I see how you do all the time. So you're judging me on base of what I do, but you're not judging you're judging yourself on how you feel, but you're judging me on what I do. I see a contradiction there too, Clay. You're judging me based on my actions, but you're judging you based on feeling. They say things like, I feel like I want it just as bad as you. And I go, but you're not doing it as much as me. So you're judging me on do and you're judging you on feel. I'm a compassionate person. I just saw you spit on somebody. I've never seen you donate money in your life, but I'm a compassionate person. And I go, why do you say that? And they say, because I feel like it. I go, okay, so feelings is what rules the world, right? No, do rules the world. So if you judge me based on do, and then you start meeting people, you'll have to call yourself outgoing too. Well, I'm still an introvert. And me too. I still am. What are you going to do about it? You can't prove it. I know how I am and how I was a kid and how I grew up and what I changed. There's no way you changed that much. Ask my mama. My mama known me 59 and a half years. She know what's changed and what ain't. You know, it's funny too, because like, let me tell you, this is two things that are real personal. So like, I correct my 87, soon to be 80-year-old mom. And I always think it's good to correct her because what she's saying is just wrong and dumb. So the other day, Spencer's correcting me, and I'm looking at him like, you idiot. You shouldn't correct me. I'm old. And then I was thinking to myself, well, I correct her, and she's old, so I better just shut up. Isn't that weird? So then the other thing I was thinking about is, I was telling somebody a joke the other day, and Spencer wasn't saying nothing. I was thinking, I wonder if 20 years from now, he'll tell that joke, and his kid will act like he would never tell that joke. So it's whatever you become. You have a lot to do with what you become by letting yourself become outgoing, letting yourself become non-judgmental. Like, let yourself become non-judgmental. And then you just really don't care. Or is the other thing is when somebody does you wrong and then you get all mad and lose your mind over it, as opposed to going, and move on. Or I was explaining something to an attorney this morning whose first language is Spanish, and I'm explaining something to her, and she's explaining something to me. The question is, the way I explained it to her today, would I have done it 20 years ago like that? Or would I have told her the law? I told her the law. Whereas 20 years ago, I might have believed what she was saying. I was like, that's not the law. This is the law. And she started laughing. And I gave her the logic behind it, and I'm still not sure what the laugh meant, but my point, I don't know what I was 20 years ago, what I am now, because I told her, this is what we're going with, this is the law. She started laughing. I was like, all right, laugh if you want to, but this is the way we're going to run it. Unless you're going to start screaming, because then I'm going to get another attorney. I'm going to get one that understands the law is what I thought the law is. I watch CSI and Law and Order and Criminal Minds as much as anybody I know. All right. This one's crazy. Have either of you three heard of the reticular cortex in your brain? Reticular activating system. You know what that is, James? Have you heard of that thing?
Yeah, I heard of the reticular activating system. I'm familiar with it from Wayne Dyer.
Yes. Tell them what it means.
Yeah,
by the way, this is real. This is a legitimate physical part of your body that exists. It's like this big in your brain. It's like that big.
Yeah, so your reticular activating system is it's pretty much what you think about, and subconsciously things, you are attracted to those things, or you start to see more of those things. Like, for an example, let's just say if a mother is, watching her child and she's asleep, right, but she hears something that can endanger her child, immediately she jumps up and responds to save the child. Another example of your reticular activating system is that, let's say if you go out there and you buy a 750 BMW, and you've never seen that car on the road before, your reticular activating system is now going to allow you to see that car more often than ever before, because you have never seen it before.
And it's not just subconscious, it's conscious.
Conscious, correct.
So, like, if I said, I really need for you to look around, and don't hesitate, but just make a note of green things in the room. And there's a reason for I need you to notice the green things in the room. So, like, how quickly can you identify green things? Like, I've got 5 or 6 different ones that quick. Then I go, brown. I need brown. You're still slowing down a little bit when you pass over green, but you're really not. And one thing you ain't looking at is red. So that reticular directs your imagination, your thought process, your visual. It's like a screen, and it lets through everything that you want that's associated with that. So, like, I love that about the baby, because we were with Ada, the grandbaby, and I'm telling you, that baby could be screaming. They had this little remote thing. And I mean, I would be oblivious. Like, the TV might as well have been race cars playing. And but Meredith, and then she'd go over that machine. I'll be like, what? Why did that machine attract her over to it like that? And she'd look at it, and then she'd make a decision whether to go or not. One time she looked at it and she said, she's just restless. And I was like, I didn't hear nothing, but I did see her go to that machine and then make that decision. So this is a true part of your brain that you tell it what to look for. Okay? So, another way to put it is, attention is the key to life. Anything you pay attention to will prosper. So if your attention is on people that are capable of building the business, then your screen looks and you become a little oblivious to people that can't do it, and you see people that can do it. Let me tell you a terrible reticular system. I got to win the recruiting contest. I'll recruit everybody and I'll have the most people on my team and I'll win the recruiting contest. That is, you've given your activating system poor instructions. Well, I do want to win a recruiting contest. You really want to build a massive business. So you could recruit them and then put them over to the side quickly, and that still counts toward the contest, but you really don't want to spend 3 weeks training them. We had one of our managers, I've seen this in 34 years, I've seen this so many times, but I will probably hear it again this week. Andy, I've been studying the way that you do things, and I have come to this conclusion. All right, let me hear it. All right, here's what I'm going to do. And it's not right. From how many times I've heard, like this one happens a lot. All this thing about hire all the people and only work with the good ones, I'm going to pick out the good ones and I'm going to hire one and I'm going to spend 3 or 4 weeks and get them up and running. I'm going to slow down to speed up. Now that's a good phrase. Slow down to speed up. You used it earlier, Olivia. So they're going to slow down to speed up. So they slow down hiring people because they picked a person, they're going to give them a lot of attention. And then once they got him going, they're going to get another one going and they're going to give him a lot of attention. Now they got 2. Here's the problem. Who the hell can recognize what's in a person's heart? Just because they got a great resume don't mean they're going to do anything. So you got to have 10 people. You see, but the reticular, Spencer, is what are you looking for? Paying attention to little things that people do that if they will repeat them, then you can get them into recruit them. You can get them into selling. Like I'll give you, I have a belief that when Megan Wood's reticular activating system gets on recruiting like it is moving apps. I've said this to her because she's so good at moving apps. When she gets all the mechanisms to recruiting, she'll blow past everybody because she has ability to discipline. So a bodybuilder type that can win a championship, that person, if they can give that same activating system, say, oh, chocolate cake, no, up. M&Ms, no, right? Oh, tequila, no. You know, they've trained somebody's gave them specific instructions. So if that same disciplined person can come over here, the only question is, was they're aspiring to get that trophy, that little ribbon? And they don't have aspiring thought to get free and wealthy? Because over here, they let nothing get in their way. And then here, they let things get in their way. Because that ring or that trophy or that recognition or the pictures or whatever, it was unbelievable. And they can say, well, circumstances are different then. Circumstances are always different. So understanding that activation system in your mind and giving it good instructions. So I want y'all to help me with a how. And I'm gonna go to my phone and say, help me with a how. How about this? Amanda's first app was 7/21/23. She wrote her first app. Now she's got 12 people going to the view. All right. How do we start recruiting more young, sharp, aggressive people? And by young, I mean less than 32. Because I had people go like, he meant young at heart. No, I didn't. That would be like a basketball coach saying, I want short people, or I want tall people. And so it's like, he really means people that are talented. He don't care about, no, he cares. Like, I really do care. Because that's discriminatory. I go, yeah, it's discriminating against people that are young. I mean, discriminating for them. Why? And don't worry about why. I ain't got time to tell you all why. This is what we're looking for. So my question, the only place I've had success consistently touching them so far has been Instagram. And it's a lot of work. And I'm trying to get out of the work. I'm trying to speed it up. You can't get out of the work. I'm trying to get out of the work. Let me tell you all this. A long time ago, Monster.com had this advertising campaign. It was unbelievable. It had a bunch of monkeys in the office, and they go, "Are you tired of working with a bunch of monkeys? Send in your application, and we'll show you how to sell insurance." The advertisement was about the monkeys, and we were like, "We'll fix it. You can come sell with us." And people were filling out applications young, sharp. I remember watching the Super Bowl, and I was at resume, just coming on my computer. I was looking, the TV was in front of me, and my computer was behind me. I was like looking at my computer, looking at the TV, because every time they'd run that crazy advertisement about the monkeys and stuff in the office, like, you don't want to work with a bunch of monkeys, do you? And they'd be filling out applications. I'm printing out apps, and I was like, I'm going to call these people, and I call them during the Super Bowl. I remember I called AB, and I said, "Are you running ads?" Because they're working like crazy. And they were cheap. And then the government got involved and said, you can't be having a bunch of monkeys in the office and telling people they work with monkeys. And I was like, well, what if they work with monkeys? It's terrible. And it was something about animal cruelty. I think one of them knocked over a spotlight and burned his little toe or something. And so the government shut down this program. I was like, Monster was working for a while. ZipRecruiter, unbelievable prices. Like, people tell me that I'm getting good results from ZipRecruiter. It's spending $200 and $150. We got it for $75, right? If you're part of President's Club. It's still working. It's working. Right now, it's probably working better than anything I got. I am hearing look at resumes and sort resumes, but has anybody found a way to get a lot of young people to interview? Have you found a way, James?
Well, the young people I've been running across, Andy, has just been out and about.
I hate that. Yep, I know. Don't you hate it when people say, "How you lose weight?" They got to eat less. Anything else? Yeah, drink less wine. Give me a knife. Right? You know, like why does everything have to be something I don't? Well, right? Okay. You out and about, restaurants, hotels, Chipotle.
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, yeah.
I'm working. I spent $10,000 the last 4 months to talk to young people. Some guy told me I could do it. I talked to 4. I was like, $2,500 a piece. I told him, I said, let me explain something to you. I ain't going to keep paying you, bro. I can't do that. You, Olivia, have you found a way to get them steady young coming in?
I mean, I definitely agree with James being out and about, because ZipRecruiter is really good. I mean, it's been working for me. But at least when you're out and about, you can actually kind of get a glimpse in front of you what type of people you're going to, try to bring into your agency. Young.
I might just take the rest of the afternoon out and go to Starbucks and look around, see if I can find somebody. The person that you got selling, where'd you get them from?
I actually got it through Jason's interviews, the way that he has his interviews set up with his team.
Well, what's he? Do you know how he's doing? Is he's calling lists?
Yeah.
So what he does is he buys a list of everybody that's licensed in a territory.
Yeah, I don't think he buys them. From what my understanding, and Jason, sorry if I'm not explaining this correctly if you're watching this, but pretty sure he goes on the new licensing list. It's free.
You are correct. In some states, it is free.
Yeah. So in the state of Florida, it's free. So he's having his team call that list and then set up interviews.
Is the guy you got under 30?
Say that again?
The guy that you hired selling, is he under 30?
No, I think he's 41.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. I was 37 when I got my insurance license. So I'm not against it. And I one of my guys that had wrote for like 8 months till he died, he was 86 when I hired him. He wrote for like 6 months, then he died or something. Got a stroke, something messed up. I mean, so all that training, all that time I flew down there and talked to him in Fort Myers, I was like, So I'm not against it. I made some money for a while, right? But I just know if you get them when they're 24, 25, 26, 27, statistically speaking, actuaries will tell you this, insurance companies are going to live longer. And they got more energy. A lot of reasons. How about you, Spencer? I'm getting nothing. Nobody's texting me nothing. I want somebody to tell me how y'all doing it, how you find them young people.
I mean, every way, all the above. Why not do everything that you can? Like post on social media, DM people, ask your friends for referrals. I mean, heck, Chad, I've been trying to get him into the business for 6 or 7 years. He gave me a referral that I reached out to today and said, hey, jump on the TWC. ZipRecruiter, like, do it all. I mean, you're probably not going to find the magic formula for finding who you want. But if you do everything, you might get one from here, one from there. And then, hope one works out and they start building their business too.
Did you say TikTok?
DM.
You get some young people respond on TikTok?
Oh, God, yeah.
Give him a mic. I got a suggestion right here. So you getting some response off of TikTok?
I'm getting major response off of TikTok. Hopefully the government doesn't do what they're wanting to do, but
The government's going to always do what they want to do.
right.
But if they diversify, I think all you got to do is diversify some American.
Right.
Maybe buy it.
I would say right now, 98% of the agents that I have brought on have come from TikTok.
Hey, under 40?
I've got really 2 people over 40.
2 people over 40. Got any under 40?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm looking for, under 40. Yep. By the way, By the way, that's where Steve and the helicopter pilot came TikTok, Spencer, and Steve Finelli. Steve Benelli. Steve something. That guy. So it happens, but neither one of them are under 40. But have you got some contracted under 40?
Yeah.
All right, social media girl, how are we gonna do TikTok? I'm on TikTok and I got a bunch of views on TikTok, but nobody's saying they want a job or they want to work with us. So maybe I'm not doing it right.
Yeah, my calendar's full.
Your calendar's full.
I'm doing, literally, I think last week I had like 25 appointments.
25 appointments.
Yeah. That's agents and for
clients, both. Well, I see your numbers. They're selling. Yep. And you're starting to recruit, so.
Yep.
All right. So John sent me a note that said, I'm coming up there. See you. What did I say to you? Remember? What did I text you back? I can look it up. You know I texted you?
Well, woohoo.
Huh? Woohoo was the first thing. What was the second thing?
What did you text me?
It's what you wanted to do.
You asked me was I coming to the seminar. That was one thing. That's right. The social media.
I always tell people, like, you only talk to me. I talk to you and her and her and him and him and him and him. How do I remember what? But my wife will tell you, and you can't remember to pick up the children when they get out of school. It's called a reticular activating system. I will remember, you've seen it, Spencer, I just freaky remember stuff that I said to a person or a person all of a sudden. It's because that's what I think. I said, did you say it? Tell me what I said.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Say it again. Oh yeah, we got to make sure we do something social media wise while I'm up here. Yep.
Because I've seen his responses he's getting. I was like, this son of a guns, we're gonna do him a favor. Why do you do somebody a favor, James?
Deposits, so you can go back and use it against them.
Yeah. If I run a social media on him, I'm gonna say, Jessica, talk to him about what he's doing. He'll be like, sure, I'll tell you. Albright does stuff for me. I'm right. I'm always depositing as soon as I can think about it. If I can get ahead of you and get a deposit before you can get a deposit. Because if you're getting that many appointments, I'm like, what are we doing differently? Jessica's going to figure it out. I've sent you his website. You with me? So maybe he's got a funnel on there. Maybe he's doing something.
He has his bio, now hiring.
Now hiring.
And has his appointment link on there.
Yep. And he's got an appointment link on it. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to fix this.
Yeah, people jump on the counter. I don't ask. They just jump on.
What, Olivia? Reticular activating system. What do I think about? Where's my attention? How do I get these sharp young people? So I'm asking you how you do it. I know Jason does it. I'm asking Jason. I'm asking John. Anybody, I'm going like, tell me. Let's go. Get it. I got to find somebody that's getting what I want so I can get what I want. Because if I figure out how they're doing it, then I'm going to copy what they're doing. And if I find out you're spending $100 a month, I'm going to spend $1,000 a month in that which works. Oh, I'm going to tell you all this. When I saw mortgage protection leads, see if I can produce one. When I saw this right here, when somebody showed me a mortgage protection lead and how they work, I looked at that and I said, are you telling me that somebody fills out something, name, birth, male, female, foot, inches, pounds, work phone, cell phone, home phone? By the way, when this first started, it had work phone and home phone. You know what I added to it? Cell phone. I said, run a test, put cell phone on there. And so they moved it over, so they put it on there. Unbelievable returns. I remember doing that. The guy was like, that's genius. I said, it's absolute genius is what it is. Why would you not ask for a person's cell phone 15 years ago? Right? That'd be like right now, we should probably ask for social media account. Where's my direct mail person? Ask for their social media account. What's your tagline handle when they're doing direct mail? They should ask for whatever the heck you call it. Okay, when I saw this, I had a reticular activating system called, if you find something that works, okay. So when I met with a guy in Vegas about 3 or 4 years ago, and he showed me how estate planning worked, and if a person bought a trust from attorneys, or not bought it, but they paid attorneys to do a trust, and you were there witnessing everything, you'd learn all their assets. I said, that's a great idea. I said, but I don't know how it works. He said, yeah, you know what a trust is? I go, yeah, I know what estate planning is. I said, but I don't know how to get them people together. Guy calls me and he says, hey, we got a system that we can get people to show up in front of you that are worth $1 million each, sometimes $2 million, sometimes $500,000. I go, you do what? Kind of like mortgage protection. What? I don't believe you. We're going to test it. We did it in Burlington, and it worked. Had 65 people show up, worth about $65 million. I was like, it reminds me so much of like when I first saw mortgage protection, Spencer. I just lost mine. I was like, I can't believe this. John Beverly is talking about TikTok. Everybody's asking that. John Beverly. Let me tell you, Mike Hartley, I sold him on this. I said, Mike, by the way, when I was sold on mortgage protection, I turned around and sold Alex Abian. I sold Noel. He sold Noel to come talk to me. I sold Noel. I sold Eric Belair. I sold Osuna. Like literally said, I've never seen it. You know what most people said? Albright, you're just selling something. I remember when we started selling coupon books, that's the greatest thing in the world. I remember when you used Amway, that's the greatest thing in the world. I remember when we got in that pyramid in Florida. You're always selling something. I go, guys, listen, when I found that thing in Florida, it's the best thing I'd ever seen. When I found the one in Eastern North Carolina, it's the best thing I'd ever seen. It really was. Until they arrested everybody, then it was no bueno. Okay? When I saw Amway, it's the best thing I'd ever seen. Until I saw mortgage protection leads, and I got an insurance license. I still 100% committed to Amway. I got an insurance license, wasn't that impressive. Not that impressive. I wasn't telling people, but when I saw the mortgage protection, let me ask Abian. I didn't call him about MSAs or health insurance. It was a pain in the rear end. No leads, no advances, no tiers. I wasn't telling them about it, but when I saw mortgage protection, I lost my mind. He said, well, how come it's not? It's still great. These leads are $115. They were $15 then. And then we started doing filing expense. Those leads were only $25. Now they're 60. And don't get me wrong, if we can do $20 final expense leads in your territory, if you got a green area, I'd get everyone I can. Light green, I'd get everyone I can. But if it's red, light red, kind of red, So when I saw this, when I saw it, I started saying, let me make sure this is real. So we started doing the numbers to make sure it was real. I'm trying to pull up Hartley. Hartley, resend me. Hartley. Here we go. Where is his numbers? They've got a seminar coming up 6 days from now, and they've got 28 million in assets coming so far. Now you say, well, just because people sitting there in front of me got $1 million in assets don't mean I won't make no money. That's like saying, just because somebody fills out this mortgage protection don't mean they're gonna buy it. I go, let me tell y'all something. Albright meets you at a gas station. He gonna try to get you in something. If I got this lead with your signature on it, you getting ready to get something. You show up, sit down in front of me with $1 million, and you come to figure out about asset planning, estate planning. Katie bar the door. Fat lady needs to warm up her voice because she's getting ready to sing. Where's I cannot find my. They just keep sending me, him and him. Oh, here it is, right here. 26,000. Listen to this. I got a call from a registrant if she could bring 2 guests with her. First seminar ever he's run, and a guest called and said, "Can I bring 2 guests?" And they get graphs. What they do is the computers and all the internet technology pulling up all their assets. Assets over 26 million. I mean, he's got it progression, 13.5, 17 million, up to 26 million now. And I don't know how many people he's got coming. Had 27 registered on Saturday. And I forget when they're next. I don't even know how much Bill Krause is going to bring in. Michael Weinberg. So anyway, that's starting tomorrow. We're having a social tomorrow. If you're not signed up, I highly recommend you, because remember that when Alex Abian drove down and 10 people drove down and spent the night, and out of I think he had 5 people, 3 of them multimillionaires. 3 of them have made millions out of 5 that drove all night. So if you're hearing this for the first time, or Spencer, if you haven't enthusiastically told people about this, and you could get one more, I'd bring them. It's crazy. It is a little more complicated. It does take a higher level person. Turns out mortgage, I thought anybody could do mortgages. I used to tell people caveman could do it. Turns out you have to be able to make phone calls. You have to be able to find a house. You have to do this. You got to do all this stuff. Hey, you don't have to find their house with this. They come to your office or your free library. I don't have an office. Borrow somebody's office. Talk to your dentist. They close down at 5. They probably let you use the office. Figure it out. How do I get an office? Okay. Is this helpful? Takeaways, James.
Takeaways is just being consistent, constantly looking and understanding the kind of people that we're looking for, right? I think it goes back to we want the people that's capable, right? And also, as I mentioned earlier, not the major and the minors when it comes down to things that we can't control, if the people moving or not moving. We just got to constantly have our fishing rod cast in the water to keep looking for people.
All right. I like you folks. I like your reticular system went in on the recruiting aspect of everything we said. Spencer, what's your takeaways?
I have what it takes, and I need to execute.
Hey, Jerry, he'll summarize something in a minute. What do you think, Olivia? Wrap it up. Takeaways.
Right, are you able to hear me? Because it was like coming
loud and clear.
Okay, awesome. So my takeaways is I definitely want to go back and self-analyze what I'm doing in my business. What is hurting me? What are my pain points? And then what can I do to fix them? Think a little bit more harder of what exactly I want and what steps am I specifically going to take to get there, and really execute that. Again, knowledge and execution.
I'm pretty sure I sold you hard on this book when I was here before. So there's so many books I want to sell you on. I asked Andy to go in.
You did sell me on, Andy, real quick. If we're talking about books, I just got it. It was the one I just got it last night. I think I sent you the picture. It was Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. So I'm super excited to start that.
It's a great book. I was just selling, Spencer just got it. God, it's so good. Off balance, because I got tired of people talking to me about being off balance in life. So I got Matthew Kelly's book on off balance. I read it and I said, I got it. Move on. I'm not going to tell you what it says, but if anybody ever accuses you of that, you ought to read this book. Solved. Be gone. Inside this book, it says there's 7 things that you need to learn: planning, organizing, staffing, delegating, supervising, measuring, and reporting. So if you're going to be a great leader, great boss, there's 7 things you got to get good at. None of those are hard, but all of them require knowledge and execution. This is a great book. That's a great book. So here's the thing. If you take time to read, say, a comic book, you got to have rest and relaxation. Okay. You do? Do you really? Let me give you a hint. He don't talk about having a balanced life between this book and comic books. 1 hour of comic books, 1 hour of success books. That is not his strategy of balance. It's an interesting balance strategy. But so now you have a limited amount of time to read how much you're going to read. And then there's a television conflict. That's what I wanted to balance. I was like, what's the balance between television and getting smart, how to get free and rich? I was not happy with what they said, but I still took what they said. It's for real. What do you want? No matter what the thing is, what do you want? And then how do you get it? Finding other people that have done it, reading books that have done it, listening to audios that have done it, getting around people that have done it. What do you want? What do you want? It's your decision what you want. Just be careful though. Pick out something you don't want and get it. Now you got something you don't want. Now you got to talk about how to get rid of it. But you went through all the trouble to get it. So what do you want? All right, guys, I hope this is helpful. I got a lot from y'all and John, and I'm excited about executing the next step. Thursday, we're going to be at the Red Oak Brewery out here on 40. They got great snacks, great food. Wolfpack takes on somebody, Texas Tech tomorrow at 9:45. You should be watching that. And then Friday morning at 8 a.m., should be in here bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, getting ready to take notes because Scott Garcia, Chris Norris are going to throw down on how to do these seminars. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's the craziest thing I've seen since mortgage protection. I told people final expense is almost as good as mortgage protection. That's what I used to sell them on. It still is. And the problem is they're cheaper. So you got, these seminar stuff's stupid. Oh, and Spanish, these Spanish IUL leads continue to just blow it out of the water. $6, $7. Mercedes wrote 20,000, 22,000 last week. Olga's up into 20,000. Osuna's trailing behind them. He's around 18,000. Anytime you get somebody submitting 20,000 a week, 15,000 a week, it's a good thing. All right, I'm out. Peace out. Hope it's helped y'all. See y'all tomorrow, Thursday. Oh, there's a big Tampa meeting. There's all kinds. Go on, look at all the events going on and make sure if you ain't coming to mine, you're coming to one close to you. All right, peace out.